Welcome back to The Last Witness. Today we'll be going over the Courtney Clenney case. Courtney Clenney was well known online. She had built a career as a fitness influencer and social media personality under the name Courtney Taylor. Her social media pages showed workouts, vacations, modeling pictures, and a glamorous lifestyle. She had a large following and had also earned money through that special modeling platform. Then there was Obumseli. Christian was 27 years old and worked in cryptocurrency. The two began dating around 2020. Eventually, they moved into a luxury condo in Miami's Edgewater neighborhood. From the outside, they looked like a young couple living the kind of lifestyle many people only see online. But according to evidence later presented in court, their relationship was far more complicated. The relationship reportedly became increasingly volatile. There were allegations of physical violence, and there were disagreements about who was actually the aggressor. This distinction became extremely important. Courtney's defense would later argue that Christian had been abusive towards her and that she had lived in fear of him. Christian's family strongly disputed that characterization. Prosecutors, meanwhile, pointed to evidence that they demonstrated Courtney had been physically aggressive towards Christian. One of the most important pieces of evidence was surveillance footage from their apartment building. In February 2022, surveillance cameras inside the condominium captured Courtney and Christian in an elevator. The footage showed Courtney hitting and shoving Christian. Prosecutors argued that the video demonstrated Courtney's aggression towards him, but Courtney's defense said the footage did not tell the entire story. Her attorneys argued that earlier portions of the surveillance footage showed Courtney distressed and attempting to get away from Christian. They said Christian eventually put her in a headlock. The defense argued that the public had been shown a small amount of a much larger story, and that disagreement would become one of the defining issues of the case. On April 1st, police were called to the apartment following a disturbance. Courtney reportedly told police officers that she wanted to end the relationship and accused Christian of stalking her. 2 days later, Christian would be dead.
I'm scared. I'm scared of him.
April 3rd began like any ordinary day. Christian left the apartment during the afternoon. According to the reports, he later returned carrying food for himself and Courtney, but sometime after he returned, an argument began. The exact details remain disputed. What happened next was a fatal confrontation. Christian was stabbed. Courtney called 911. When the emergency responders arrived, they found Christian suffering from a serious wound. The situation was immediately treated as life-threatening. Christian was transported for medical treatment, but he could not be saved. Christian was dead at 27 years old. The emergency call became an important piece of evidence. Courtney was on the phone with dispatchers while Christian was injured. Christian could be heard saying that he was dying and could not feel his arms. Courtney was also heard apologizing to him. For prosecutors, these circumstances surrounding that call were part of a much larger picture. For the defense, it was the evidence of a woman experiencing the aftermath of what she believed was a terrifying attack. But what was another question investigators had to answer? How exactly did the knife cause the fatal injury? Courtney told the investigators that Christian had attacked her. She said he had pushed her and attempted to choke her. According to her account, she grabbed a knife and threw it towards him. She claimed she never intended to kill Christian. Her attorney would eventually build their defense around self-defense and domestic violence. But prosecutors didn't believe her explanation. They argued that the physical evidence didn't match her description of what happened. The medical examiner determined that Christian's death was a homicide. The fatal wound was approximately 3 inches deep. Prosecutors argued that the injury was inconsistent with Courtney's claim that she simply threw the knife from several feet away. After Christian's death, Courtney was not immediately arrested after the murder. Courtney eventually traveled to Hawaii and entered a rehabilitation center. 4 months after Christian's death, she was finally arrested. She was charged with second-degree murder with a deadly weapon. Courtney maintained that she had acted in self-defense. She pled not guilty, and the legal battle began. The prosecution and defense essentially presented two different versions of Courtney and Christian's relationship. The prosecution described the relationship marked by escalating conflict and argued that Courtney was capable of violence towards Christian. The defense portrayed Courtney as a woman who had experienced abuse and believed she was protecting herself from a dangerous partner. Every piece of evidence became part of the battle over one question: who was the aggressor? Courtney remained in custody for years. The case was delayed multiple times as prosecutors and defense attorneys fought over evidence and courtroom issues. After more than 4 years in custody, Courtney's murder trial was never held. Instead, Courtney accepted a plea deal. On August 10th, 2026, she pled guilty to manslaughter with a deadly weapon and Christian's death. She was sentenced to 6 years in prison, followed by 5 years of probation. Because Courtney had already spent approximately 4 years behind bars since her 2022 arrest, she expected 2 additional years remaining on her prison sentence. For Christian's family, the plea brought a complicated form of closure. They had spent several years seeking accountability for his death. Christian's mother delivered an emotional victim impact statement during the sentencing. His family had maintained that Christian was the victim. So what do you think about this case? Do you think 6 years was enough? What happened? Do you feel like after all the information that you've been presented with, that justice was served? I don't think 6 years is enough if she was indeed the abuser. That's why I kind of wish it went to trial, because you don't know which side's true, and we didn't get to hear all the intimate details about what happened. But thank you for watching The Last Witness. I'll see you next time.